Hey guys, I think it's about time to resume the vlog series I haven't touched in 6 months. In place of a gameplay video, I want to catch you guys up on some of my recent life happenings and give you another glimpse at my life under a microscope. Here's me, behind the controller. Last Friday, I contacted my local mental health offices. You see, when I was young, my grandfather refused to let me be diagnosed with any mental illnesses. I was the perfect baby boy he never got, and nothing in this world could possibly be wrong with me. There was no way to him that it was at all possible that I might have inherited his attention deficit disorder, or that I might have inherited bipolar disorder from my father's side of the family. And if I was never diagnosed with these things, I could never have them, right? No matter how flawed his reasoning was, there's no denying this came from a good place in his heart. Even if I can fault him for other things he did over the years, I can't fault him for this. But there's a very good chance that his decision not to diagnose my symptoms early in life have resulted in irreversible damage to my psyche. It may have even resulted in more mental illnesses sprouting over time, as I didn't get treatment for those I already had. So, at the age of 24, I finally decided to contact mental health and get the ball rolling on my own. On Monday, December 19th, they screened me. They asked all sorts of questions about my ability to socialize, about depression, suicidal thoughts, the whole works. I know the two conditions I'm most susceptible to having: attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and borderline personality disorder. It's easy to make the connection between my inability to focus on one thing for too long and ADHD, but I didn't know that I might have BPD until I watched a video about Handsome Jack from Borderlands made by Matthew Patrick of Game Theory. He went over all of the symptoms of BPD in relation to Handsome Jack, which spurred me into thought. My mother always suspected I might have bipolar disorder due to my ungodly swings into mania and depression. I fly back and forth between bouts of extreme elatedness and hard depression pretty wildly. It's part of why I've never been able to maintain any kind of schedule here on YouTube. I start making videos, and then eventually I just become so depressed that I can't be spurred to work. But when I found out that was also a symptom of borderline personality disorder, and that I had almost all of the symptoms associated with borderline personality disorder alongside these mad depression streaks, it set off a red flag in my head. But I still wouldn't diagnose myself. And I still didn't seek out a psychiatrist of any sort to get any official diagnosis. Because I had fooled myself into thinking it was some long, expensive progress, or that if I got diagnosed, nobody anywhere would ever hire me. I think that I can put those worries to rest. I'm still not getting hired for any kind of job, and it has nothing to do with a diagnosis that I don't have. I've got nothing left to lose, really, and after finding out I can get a diagnosis by calling the mental health offices, I decided I was long overdue. I passed screening, and with that comes a modicum of relief, and a lot of anxiety. I'm scared. I passed screening, so clearly something is malfunctioning enough that it warrants I be questioned on my condition deeper in order to find a diagnosis. But what does that mean exactly? If I do my interview and find out I have both ADHD and borderline personality disorder, I'm already prepared for that conclusion. These are two conditions I have reason to suspect that I might have. These are two conditions that I've spent most of my life curbing my behavior to accommodate for. These are things that I already figured that I had, even if I wasn't diagnosed. But what if I also find out that I have Asperger's or autism? What if I find out that I've got conduct disorder or attachment disorder? What if I'm broken in more ways than I could have ever predicted? I've spent most of my life attempting to force myself to focus on things instead of letting my mind wander as it naturally likes to do. I've spent most of my life curbing my anger when I get really upset over small, insignificant things. I've done my best in order to find ways to keep myself from going into emotional swings, but I have not spent my entire life accommodating for things like Asperger's or autism. These are disorders I never thought that I would even be in the remote area of having. These are disorders that nobody thought I might have. And what if I do? All these years, I've been acting in ways to curb the effects of the things I knew I had, but I hadn't been acting in a way to curb the effects of these mental issues. So many turning points in my life have been lost to time. So many things could have been changed if I had acted correctly, if I had tried to accommodate for these issues, assuming that I have them. I'm just really, really upset that there's a possibility that I may have other problems undiagnosed that I have lost time to. It's times like these that I wish I had someone to tell me that they loved me. For now, that's all I've got to say. Thank you for listening. As always, have a fantastic day.